Hi, I'm Rob Carson, host of the Blue Team Warrior podcast. Today I have with me Mr. John Scott. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Great to meet you, and love what you guys are doing at Semper.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And so 3 easy questions. First one is tell me about yourself and what do you do?
Yeah. So John Scott, I'm a COO of Ion Channel. We're a software supply chain risk management company. So we're helping folks get ahead of the problems versus getting slapped in the face with vulnerabilities on a daily basis.
Awesome. Cool. Well, tell me Blue Team Warrior story.
Yeah, so I think probably one of the most interesting things we've been finding is that lots of people are bringing in lots of software, and they don't know the state of any of it. So outside of just even software vulnerabilities, they don't know if they're using software that is, say, end of life, or is completely not maintained. So we've been doing work with some federal agencies and some banking clients where software comes in, we do our analysis, we come out and say, oh, by the way, this software is end of life. It was end of life 5 years ago, or it was completely abandoned. And so I think for them, it's a good check to kind of go back and say, well, that's not good. Why is it abandoned? Or then they can go back to, or we can go back to the open source software community and say, hey, this piece of software looks like it kind of like fell through the cracks, or isn't really being maintained. And it's not just simple things like crypto libraries that have been abandoned, just small things like that. So if you see that where things are abandoned, then what do you want to do with that? And so I think that it's finding all these other leading indicators of risk that folks typically are missing because the automation and the data sets haven't been there to do the magic that we do.
Awesome. Cool. Have you guys ever come across something where you like stop somebody from putting in malware or anything like that?
Not yet. I mean, I think that's coming in terms of the direction we're going, is really trying to get ahead of those problems. I mean, a lot of the times it's just people don't know, enterprises especially don't really have a good grasp on what software is coming in through the back, the side, or the front door. I think that's the bigger issue, is like, if you can't defend what you don't know you have. And so before we get really, fancy about like trying to get into, deeper malware and AI/ML and things like that, it's like, look, if you don't know what you have, you've got no chance in hell about trying to protect it. And so I think that's what we've been looking at, is how do you really help people get ahead of it by, first of all, taking stock and inventory, on a continuous basis and doing the magic that we do to it. And making it much more of a automation and flow process, not just a gating function, as you were.
That's great. Yeah, because you got to make sure you got to be like, people got to be able to move, right? Can't stop productivity. Cool. Anything else you want to add? We got a few minutes left here. Any other stories you've got? Or
Yeah, I think, obviously software bills of material are sort of a big thing that are coming up and going forward. And I think that folks seem to be going towards, well, we'll just get them and then we'll do something with it. And so I think people aren't really thinking through what you can do. I mean, some of the analysis that we've been able to do on devices, on IoT devices out in the wider world, you start finding things like, we found Chinese offensive cyber code in IoT devices that were placed there at the manufacturer's plant, before they were shipped out. And so, through the techniques that we're able, and the methods we're able to find, we're able to kind of go through and find code that probably shouldn't be there. And so I think looking at things like that, where you can kind of start pulling out, I think that's where people need to start looking for software bills of material, is like, what things can you find that you normally wouldn't find normally? I mean, really, it is the needle in the haystack sort of problem. And so I think that's really where we're trying to focus our efforts and energies, is really getting ahead of it versus waiting, because you're only using more and more software on a daily basis. The state of that software is only changing more on a daily basis, and so you're going to need a lot more monitoring kind of everywhere, and alerting. I know folks don't like that, but it's like, well, if you have 10,000 software applications going on, and you start to find that you're using out-of-date software, that's not a good look. Because vulnerabilities are only taking longer and longer to be found, to be detected out in the wild, or to be to be researched, or just found as a 0-day. So you can't just sitting around waiting and assuming that you've got like the developer resources to help you go fix. I mean, that's the worst kind of security, I think, world where you can be in. Obviously, you need to have layered security, but I think that's kind of what we've been looking at, is how do you start to really get ahead of these problems.
that's awesome. Cool. Well, anybody you want to give a shout out to or a thank?
No, I mean, I guess thank you for reaching out and having us on there. I think I think that you're doing great work, and we're trying to help make the world a little bit better and a little bit safer.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.